I married a guy I knew most of my life. We knew each other in high school and even went to prom together. But little did I know, I did not know him at all. I will call my now ex-husband Dirty Chad.
Hey y'all, this is April
And this is Caroline.
with Bloody Happy Hour.
And we are bringing to you Dirty Chad. Get it on patreon.com/bloodyhappyhour exclusively for all the details and all the red flags.
Caroline's finally telling her story.
My truth.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
This podcast contains adult themes, sexual content, and strong language. If you can't handle that, you should probably leave.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
Hello. Oh, I was like, wait, I went away and now I'm back.
We are back.
We're back.
I feel like we've been gone for a while.
But I thought that, did we not record last Thursday?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Our whole schedule's fucked. Our whole life is fucked.
We have put a lot of miles
On
these poor
ourselves?
little vehicles over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I'm glad that I have you.
And
through
most
it.
of them were probably unavoidable.
Were they?
Or I'm sorry, were avoidable.
Avoidable. I was gonna
we
say,
could have
like-
avoided like at
Yeah.
least 85% of what we just did to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm absolutely treating myself like I am a dumpster fire. Yeah, I'm so tired. But we're here.
Your body is a dumpster.
It's fucked
I thought it
up.
was supposed to be a temple. Like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I crawled out of the woodwork. Sorry. Well, anyway, babe, I'm glad to be back
Babe.
with you. Babe.
Babe. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you.
Shut the fuck up.
How have things been?
Sh-
This is
is-
nice. Look at you.
Oh, you love him?
Yeah.
Have
Always.
I worn this shirt up here before?
Probably.
I feel like you made this comment before. Well, I should have my tits looking nice today because we're going to get into a little bit of a kinkier episode, and it feels like it's been a dry minute since we've had one of those.
This book has been kind of bland.
And you're surprised.
And I am surprised by that because there's fucking cat people fucking in
There's
here.
fucking cat
Cat
people.
people.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fucking.
so funny enough, we have a new editor, and he has no idea what he said. He has no idea what we are or what we do. So I'm excited for him.
We're going to turn it down just a
No,
little
we're
bit today.
not.
We're
That's
gonna
only
back
because I'm going to
foot
try
off the
not to
brake.
vomit on live air. That's the only reason we're turning it down a notch. But anyway,
This isn't live. There's no way we're going to let
well,
that
you know what I
happen.
mean, live, like record. Anyway, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bustles and Bangers, your nasty, trashy romance novel podcast where I read these filthy little vintage books and we just tear the shit out of them with your hosts, me, Rachel, and Christopher Danger. Say what's up.
What's up?
What's up? So today we are recording the third installment of a book called Heart's Surrender by Kathleen Morgan.
They haven't talked about a surrender or a heart in this whole
No,
thing.
she refuses to surrender. What's her face does, Rissa. So we're following, as usual, two main characters, Rissa and Morrigan.
Morgan.
I hope.
Yes, I remember.
Okay.
I am remembering.
Okay, so we're on another planet, and it's where
Yeah,
the
just so y'all didn't know, today we're recording on another. planet.
no, the book. Get into the book. Like, get into this dimension.
All right, let me close
So
my eyes.
they're
I'm
in
gonna be
another.
there.
They're on another planet where it's inhabited by cat people and other species, I think. But Bellatorians have come in to raid this planet for its goods, like a bunch of assholes.
And the cat people have welcomed them with open buttholes, right?
No, the cat people got burned and murdered,
But
and
now
they
they're
have
breeding with them.
no. They captured some of the women who were on like a scouting party, which like why?
Yeah.
And they're going to keep them for breeding purposes to try to boost their numbers because their cat women are slightly infertile and they're struggling to boost their numbers very quickly. How often do you think they want to reproduce with the women? Like, do you think like as soon as you got the baby and you're back to healing, we got to pump another baby into you?
I don't know, because it isn't like a painful process for cat people.
That's just the
Don't they
sex,
have
not the
barbed-
birthing.
Oh yeah, but then would you want to repeat that because that's part the
It's
mating
not
is
about
part of the
wanting.
mating.
That doesn't matter. In this book, there is no whether you want it
What
or
was your
not.
question?
How soon do you think they're going to want to like reproduce? Like you have the baby, you wait 6 weeks, and then
Never.
it's time to get pregnant again.
That's why those cat women are pretending to be fucking
Infertile
sterile.
because they're
like,
tired of it.
I can't have pregnancy. Now they're afraid of that barbed dick, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Well, so in the past couple of
Scary.
episodes, basically Morgan is kind of a rough exterior dude, but he seems decent enough about like caring for his people. Rissa is strong-willed and does not want to submit.
Nah, if he cared about his people, they wouldn't all be dead, and he wouldn't be breeding with the enemies.
I wonder actually if he came into lordship. He came into lordship after the massacre.
I think
his dad died.
He murdered his dad. I was getting ready to say that,
Oh
and then
my
the
God.
Bellatorians met him in secret and were like, "Hey, set up your people, and we'll make you a Bellatorian." And he was like, "Okay, let's do it." So he's murdered his father.
Mm-hmm.
He's let his
He
people
did it,
die.
actually.
He gave up the coordinates to his village so they could all be slaughtered. And then he found a
Then
group
what
of
all this trouble for?
just a few survivors that he can't. He's kind of a bitch, so he can't do it himself. So he's like got these little groups running around with him. He's like, "Hey, I'm the leader because my dad's been dead, murdered, right? I murdered, killed him, and then we're gonna go hunt down these Bellatorians because I've been promised a bride. Speaking of, there's her ship with all her bridesmaids. Oh, let's go capture them. They can be your trophies. I guess.
But now-
I'm gonna take them." And then the whole time he's radioing back to Bellatoria.
Well,
And being like, "Hey, come wax these dudes because they're gonna beat me up when they figure this all out."
And also, you have to remember, Rissa is the daughter of, like, I don't know, the main lieutenant dude, the leader of all the
See, it
Bellatorians.
just backs up my theory.
Um,
Did I figure it out? Have you read far enough to confirm?
Yeah, no, nothing you're saying is correct. No, he's not done that. He's actually like semi decent when it comes to his people.
Wow, I don't like
But you know they've got some old ways and they've been going through a lot.
They're changing their ways, aren't they?
Well, sort of. I mean, they're gonna mate with Bellatorians and
Yeah,
make
they are.
cat Bellatorian people.
They'll be quarter cat
Bellatorian cat people.
Yeah,
Well,
they
so-
won't be half cats anymore. They'll be quarter cats.
Well, let me just jump in here for you.
I'm ready.
Chapter 10. Riss awoke the next morning to a woman's soft voice singing, the clatter of cookpots, and the grating sound of chairs sliding back and forth across the hard-packed dirt floor. Breakfast. Sarna already must be up and cooking breakfast. But this was the morning.
Just stirring a fucking pot of kibbles.
Cat food. Broad daylight from the sounds of activity in the main chamber, and there was only the flimsy barrier of a sleeping gown between her and nakedness.
Ooh.
She recalled Morgan's
Can I
words
tell you a
last night.
secret, Rachel? Right now, at this very moment, I'm naked under my clothes.
Yeah, we're all just a small sheath between nakedness. And people just let us walk around in public like that. How
I know.
dare they?
It's disgusting, and we should do something
You
about it.
filthy heathens. All right, let's see. She recalled Morgan's words last night, promising to mate with her soon, and a shiver of dread rippled through her.
See, that's not mating then. If she doesn't want it, that's not. We're using that term very politically right now.
Yeah, I know I said something in the
That's-
last episode where you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, you know what? It's not fair to whoa, whoa me because the women that write these books are putting this in here. So
Yeah,
why can't I say it, Kathleen?
Kathleen Morgan, yeah.
But you know what? Listen, so
we know what you're thinking.
So I started recently following some groups that like, you know, these nasty books. And man, these women have no triggers. They want the worst, nastiest, most horrific stuff to get them going. And I get it because like, I think at a certain point, like we kind of get bored with the world and you just want like some extremes, you know. But anyway, speaking of that.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of all the 85% of miles we could have avoided on ourselves. the last few
Yeah,
weeks.
we're like, we're bored. How can we fuck ourselves up? So, but speaking of all that, if you want to check us out, you want to follow us, we can be found at www.bustlesandbangers.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm not going to say TikTok because we got banned. I lost my entire account and they deleted everything. So that's awesome. But we were on TikTok and maybe eventually we'll get back to it when I don't feel defeated. But anyway, so yeah, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook under Bustles and Bangers. And then you can find me on Instagram under Gypsy Danger 317 because my other TikTok also got erased. So thanks, TikTok. What the fuck did I do? And they didn't even tell me. They just deleted it. Anyway, fuck them. All right, so where are we? She's almost naked. Oh, so she's wondering, would he be gentle with her or fly into one of those infamous, uncontrollable sexual frenzies? It wouldn't matter, Rissa decided. Either way, their mating would be against her will.
Yeah, that's not a mating. That's a rape.
Yeah. Well, and it says that. It says that. It says, wait, where did I go? Either way, it would be rape. But you know what?
I called it.
The whole deal, though,
prediction.
he doesn't want to do that, though. He wants to encourage them to like him.
Of course not. So when he goes to court, he'll be like, "But I didn't want to do it."
Yeah, it's a real Beauty and the Beast kind of situation. By the way, look up those porns. Ay.
I think I've seen some weird stuff.
Tears of impotent rage welled in her eyes. It was so unfair, all of it. She'd never felt so frustrated, so helpless in her entire life. And the fact that she found herself wildly attracted to Morgan didn't ease her distress one bit, not one bit at all. But that was one issue she certainly didn't want to dwell on, not when even the slightest contemplation of him lying naked beside her on this bed filled her with such a curious ache deep in her belly. Oh. He was a magnificent animal, big, muscular, and most attractively furred. Oh. As alien a species as he was, Rissa knew they could...
She's the alien.
Rissa knew they could couple, that she was capable of carrying his child. Animalistic as his appearance was at first glance, he was still humanoid enough for her, after some opportunity to adjust to his feline looks, to find him attractive. Why not mate with him? Why not experience what it would be like to join with a cat man?
Is this what Avatar was made after? Is this the book that inspired
this was
Avatar
written in
movies?
94. No, dude, there's too many things to say anything was inspired by anything. We've got all sorts of this kind of stuff out in the world.
We need to start.
They did kind of look like cat people, though. Yeah.
We need to start looking into this.
The 50 Shades lady liked Twilight so much. That's why those books were written like that. I think. I could be wrong. Correct me on our social media. Only she would know what few women ever knew, experience what many fantasized about, but lacked the courage ever to speak out: a primal mating with a cat man. Why not give Morgan? Anyway, she just keeps going, why not? Why not? All right, so she's trying to not cry. She's got a jumble of emotions, blah, blah, blah. I think she goes back something. Oh, she's talking about how is this ever going to work, though, because Morgan hates her father, but he doesn't know that that's her father yet.
That who's her father?
The leader that he hates.
Oh.
If she let herself love a man as driven by hatred as Morgan was, the bitter fires that would eventually consume him would consume her as well. Yeah. All right. So let's see. So she's come into the kitchen. She's talking to Morgan's mother. They're talking over food. They're cleaning. She brushed aside the memory of last night when he'd offered her his wife's sleeping gown.
Oh, yeah. I remember this. Okay.
Of the heated look in his eyes when he'd first seen her in it. Thank you, Domina, she replied, instead, her attention returning to Sarna. Perhaps we could begin my cooking lessons tonight. Because remember, they all said she was shit at it.
So he's going to teach her how to cook?
No. His mother.
Oh.
Because his mother lives with him after her husband was brutally murdered and set on fire. There will be a feast to welcome you to the lair this eve. There will be dancing and singing and storytelling. Morgan commanded it to honor his new mate. The blood rushed from Rissa's face. It wasn't necessary for Morgan to command such a thing for me, and I'm sure the other Catwomen have better things to do than cook some feast in my honor. Because, nobody's...
Is the feast going to be
of
fancy?
Her?
Fancy?
I like it. Dang, if we could get them to sponsor us.
We're going to have a fancy feast tonight?
All right.
I see what you did, Kathleen Morgan. I smelled what you
I was going to say
in.
there's no way Fancy Feast was out back then, but maybe it was.
Oh,
90s,
yeah, it was.
94. I remember those commercials. It's still going. Fluffy white cat. Mm.
Yeah. In a fucking in a crystal glass.
Yeah.
And you feed them that horse meat in there.
I don't know why she's going outside, but she says, how do your people find enough food to survive? They talk about that. I don't want to talk about that personally, so I'm going to skip it. And then she says, you cat people amaze me.
Racist.
Rude. Let's see. Oh, because they're talking about so their farming is a little bit more I don't know what the word is. High tech, cultured, not futuristic. Anyway, the Catwoman spot. We keep our herd animals pinned in one of the larger caves, bringing them out to graze for several hours in the afternoon. The fruit we gather from what grows wild in the valley, and the rest we trade furs for with the farming villages. We hope in time, though, if our attempts at adapting our perpetual light boxes to mimic sunlight more accurately are successful, to be able to grow all our grains and vegetables indoors. Nice. They need your help.
It sounds like y'all are, technologically speaking, inferior to
Oh.
us because we can already do that shit.
Well, I know, but I just thought you'd like to hear that because
That's
you
what
are
I'm-
good at growing stuff under
I
fake light.
I have to admit that I
We're
have
good little
become
gardeners.
quite a talented little grower.
I really need you to do some microgreens for me, though. I want that.
Okay, let's
You don't
do
even
some
have to grow it for
microgreens.
too long. As long as it sprouts, you just it's ready
Dude,
to eat.
I know how to do this shit.
All right.
I got you. We need a bunch of them if you want to. I mean, we're gonna do a bunch of them.
Oh, okay, so Sarna is taking Rissa to bathe at the springs. Okay, not the springs that she bathed in while they were on their journey here, but the springs that are always here at their lair. So there were actually 3 springs inside, 2 in one huge cavernous room in the first part of the cave, and a smaller one further down a short tunnel. These are communal bathing pools. The one in the back is more private and reserved for mated couples. Perhaps you and Morgan would care to bathe there together sometime. She's like, perhaps we would. All right. So anyway, she's a little nervous again because you're having to bathe in front of other people. But luckily at this moment, there's no guys there, only chicks. So she gets in. All right. Blah, 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 blah. She gets into the chest-deep water. The pool was warm, but pleasantly so, scented faintly of minerals. The water bubbled gently, churning to a light foam. A fine mist filled the air. Rissa threw back her head, basking in the delicate spray, showering her face.
The what? The delicate spray?
Showering her face. Then something cool plopped on her nose.
Oh.
She opened her eyes. Overhead, the low moss flower covered ceiling dripped with moisture. Anyway, so Sarna, Morgan's mom, makes her go introduce herself to some of the other ladies that are in the bathing pool while she's all naked. Some of them are decent enough, nice to her, but a couple more, are being kind of nasty to her, and let's see. Oh, they're bitching about the jewelry she's wearing and that it's distasteful to wear such nice things in front of people with less. And her jewelry's been a whole thing this whole fucking book. Everybody's like, "Oh, what do you have? That's so nice." Blah, blah, blah. I guess shouldn't you be like, if she has that nice of jewelry, obviously she's like of high class. So I don't know. Anyway,
That's the
everybody's just
assumption there,
jelly.
So they're all like, it's so gaudy for you to have that on.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, they've bathed.
With the fucking plebs.
Yeah, they've bathed, and we've moved on to chapter 11. They're going back through the lair, the city, the town, whatever you want to call it. People are about, children are playing, whatever. Rissa wants to go see Noreen because if you can remember, Noreen was nice to her this whole time, but he was also injured. They're finally back at the lair, and he's still healing. And she wants to see him, but they're talking about how that's not proper, that she shouldn't go in there without her mate and blah blah blah. And she's like, proper or not, I'm gonna see him,
Yeah, it's not every day someone gets their hair cut off and reattached.
Well, she says, I'm Morgan's mate. As your new lady, I hardly think you're in any position to order me around Agna. So Agna is this other woman, not the other woman, but another woman, another woman. Whatever.
Cat person?
Again, why did they call themselves cat people? Why couldn't Kathleen come up with something? You came up with Bellatorians. Why couldn't you come up with like the felina tropes or something? I don't know what. Anyway. Oh, Agna was the one caring for Noreen. She's the one that met them on the path and started taking care of him. A bit of a healer. Let's see. Okay, so she gets to hang out with Noreen for a little bit by himself. And so they're talking. He's like, come on and let's talk. The harm's already been done. You might as well say what you came to say. And she's just like, it's nice to see a friendly face. There haven't been many. And he was like, I was worried about that. But you and Sarna seem you're doing pretty well. She was like, yeah, but she's just a nice old lady. So there's not much there. And he's like, are you all right, Femina? He has yet to mate with you, hasn't he? Really, Noreen? You presume too much. What's between Morgan and me is none of your concern. Ah, but it is, Rissa. For cat people, it's a simple thing to discern who has mated with whom. And though Morgan's...
We can smell it.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. And though Morgan's scent is on you and your clothes, the other unmated males will soon discover what I've already ascertained. Then the problems will begin.
Uh-oh. Then there will be graping.
Get away from Noreen to begin with, came a deep male voice vibrating with cold fury. Who dared permit you to visit him alone in his lair? Rissa's eyes snapped open. She wheeled around. There in the doorway of the cave, his big body taut with anger, stood Morgan. Come here, Femina, now. His lips clamped shut.
Daddy.
Shut over her sharp retort, her jaw tightening. Noreen squeezed her hand, then released her. Go to him, Rissa. Don't fight him on this, please. She shot Noreen an agonized glance and swallowed hard.
Damn, girl, what are you doing right now? You're just preparing. It sounds like maybe you already
executed it. Then, like a woman going to her execution, Rissa turned and strode over to the Lord of the Cat People. They walked in silence for a time, and an overwhelming impulse filled Morgan to grab Rissa and shake her.
And then he looked her dead in the eye and said, "Girl, it's time to suck this dick."
Then turn her over his knee and beat her until she promised never again to disobey. Oh. The intensity of the emotion and its inherent violence startled him. He'd never lifted a hand to a female.
Never beaten a woman before.
Until he met Rissa. He'd rarely even raised his voice to one, but she
but now maybe he's finding he likes it.
I don't know. No.
Is this?
He's not gonna touch her.
Beat her up, and then he's like, I've never done this before.
Sup,
this is
girl.
the first time, but I think maybe this first time's kind of special because this is opening a lot of doors for me personally. Like,
thanks for popping my cherry, Rissa.
Every woman now that I come in contact,
I'm gonna just beat the shit out of her.
I'm gonna love her for like 2 days, and then I'm just gonna beat the shit out of her and
force her to love me back.
Look, it's not because of her.
Yeah,
it just makes me happy.
So he wants to sit her down and talk.
Oh no! Okay. After the fact,
no, they didn't touch her. And he's asking,
sunglasses on, fucking tissue up her nose.
Do you even have sunglasses as a cat person?
Yeah.
You're in a cave, you don't need them. As unfunny though as beating women is, this book does touch on it some more in a little bit. So if we're just going to go ahead and advocate, as we do sometimes, if you are in danger, if you are hurt, if you are in trouble, reach out to someone, get out, get away. All right, so he's asking her if you desire Noreen, and she's like, oh my God, why are you all alike? I've never seen a more insecure lot. And he's like, I can't keep you against your will, not within the lair. And she's like, I know, Noreen told me. He's like, did he? Why? To convince you to leave me? Oh. All right, so he is very
flaring up,
freaking out. Anyway, and as they are like captive, they're also not like forcing them to stay with that mate, apparently. So anyway, they go through a bunch of
how? What do you mean?
Like
they can leave?
No, she can choose a different guy.
Oh, okay. So out of the circle of friends, you have to choose one.
You have to choose somebody. Yeah, you can't.
What if
can't
there's
go home?
Even amount?
There's not. There's just not.
What if there was 9 cat ladies and 5 cat dudes, fellas?
Well, these 9 cat ladies aren't producing anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, there's still enough people left.
And what has happened to the cat women? Are they just going to go off onto the wilderness and die now because they don't have mates?
They're going to live their best independent lives. Like, fuck that shit.
Away from the men.
No, they're still there.
All these Bellatorians are getting impregnated now.
No.
And taking their spot in their own homeland because of their wisdom of their leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yes. One leader. And there's a council, though. But anyway, they go on for conversations and yada, yada, yadas, and I skipped like 4 pages.
All right, good.
She's asking what happened to her friend Diona. And he says, your friend is quite safe and unharmed. But tried to make the point that some of your compatriots have found their new mates quite pleasing. Diona is one of them. No, not Diona. I can't believe she would ever submit for her. I don't think it was so much a submission as a mutual attraction. She and Tavist seem surprisingly happy together for such a short time together, I mean. So Diona is one of the ones I think in the beginning that was like, ooh, have you ever seen one? I might like to try that. So she's down, dude. Like she was like, take me.
Oh no, I'm going in here by myself. Don't follow me.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so they're they're to the feast. It's a nice fancy feast.
Right.
The night was cool, and the decision had been made to have the feast out of doors.
And they're all in tuxedos, eating out of their fancy glasses, their little cat foods.
There would be few opportunities left, Morgan had informed her before winter set in, and above everything, the cat people loved the freedom of the outdoors. All right, so they go in. There's cook fires burning, roasting whole carcasses of domer, as well as fowl and fish.
We even fried up one of them Bellatorian aliens.
Oh my God.
We smoked them. So come get some smoked alien.
Yeah. Okay. So Rissa sees some of her friends out and about. She wants to go talk to him. And he's like, later. We have to do the welcome ceremony first. Her glance lifted to what lay ahead. In the middle of a seated circle of cat people, a huge bonfire blazed. A crudely wrought stone throne stood at one end of the circle. On either side of the throne sat several wooden, high-backed chairs. Noreen already awaited them there, seated 2 chairs down from what would be Morgan's right. You will sit between Noreen and me. My mother will sit on my left. So he puts her right smack dab in the middle of them, so I guess he's not too worried. Pale beige leathern breeches stretched tautly around his heavily muscled legs, and soft knee-high boots completed his dress. With his long mane...
Do cat people stand on their hind legs or on all fours? And
they're just humans.
How are these pants situated?
They're furry humans.
Is it all 4 pants up? Or is it like this?
They're like us, but furry with claws and fangs.
So like the back legs up to the waist with a belt. Like a little cat with pants on, but their arms are free, like if they were standing up.
It's a person. He looks like a person.
But he looks like a cat.
He's just furry and has like a mane and has teeth and claws and the ability to read minds and cloak himself in invisibility. Like, why? Why? All right. For a long firelit moment, he gazed out on the mass of people gathered there. A myriad of loving faces, from young to old, stared back at him, attentive and expectant. He smiled.
Old and young kittens looking at
We've had little occasion to dance and sing and feast in the past cycle, and even less of a reason, Morgan's strong, rich voice carried to the farthest reaches of the crowd. But time and our lives must journey on. Decisions, hard ones, have had to be made if we are ever again to prosper as a people. Bringing Rissa and the other women here was one of those decisions. Morgan turned to her and offered his hand.
It was one of the bad decisions.
He pulled her close, then turned to his people. Rissa is my mate. She is now your lady. Welcome her, help her, teach her. For my sake, for us all. The cat lord grinned. Now, let the gifts be brought forth.
If our leaders, let's say Joe Biden, gets a visit from an aliens, they land. We know they're here for a fact. They land and start taking our resources. And he comes out in public one day, Rachel, and goes, I want all of you to know that this is my mate.
The alien?
And he like...
Wonder how weird it looks.
And then he's like, this is just how it's going to be, and y'all are all going to be okay with it. And
I mean, really, I wouldn't be surprised.
And then everybody's just like, whoa, yeah, we did. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what's happening right now.
But I don't think the aliens would go for him. But maybe they would, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
They're old and ugly. He's old and ugly. I don't know. So let the feast begin, Morgan shouted. And with jubilant agreement, the cat people did just that. Morgan led Rissa back to her chair. It's yet another of our customs for the males to serve the females at these feasts. I'll return shortly with your...
Wait, what?
And my mother's food. He cocked a brow. Any special requests? Yeah, so he's going to serve her the food. Dang. Okay. So she's talking with Noreen.
Kathleen, you're really reaching here.
Yeah,
with some of this
she's
shit.
reaching a lot because this book is way too
I'm
thick.
drawing the line that the females,
that wouldn't have happened.
No, fuck off.
Oh my God. They care for them. Damn, dude.
No, they don't.
Anyway, she's talking with Noreen. I think he pisses her off. She goes to find Diona. They talk, and Diona says, "Has the cat lord harmed you in any way? Did he force himself on you? If he did, I swear Morrigan hasn't laid a hand on me in any way."
I thought he beat her.
Are you telling me he has yet to mate with you? Diona, please. But he must mate with you. That's why the catmen took us. Just the way she's like, but that's the whole reason we're here.
We got kidnapped to get raped by
Do
cat people.
it.
What are you doing?
Not
Get in
if-
there and go have your turn.
Yeah, not if I can help it. I'm no man's chattel. Well, from the looks of him, I'll gladly volunteer to be his chattel and anything else he wanted.
I'm gonna go.
Diona.
I'm gonna get gangbanged by a
Hell
bunch of
yeah.
cat men.
Yeah, where's the warrant for this? She's like, are you blind, Rissa? The man is magnificent. I couldn't have chosen a finer specimen for you if I tried. Though I find my sweet Tavist a most satisfying mate, I would swoon from delight if your Morgan turned a favorable eye on me. And you have him. Talk about good fortune. All right, so after the
I have sweet
meal,
little Tad on the over here, and
Tavis.
your guy looks at me crazy, and I might just leave him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so lucky.
After the meal, the music quickened to a livelier pace. Several cat women rose and began to sway sensually before the bonfire. One by one, additional women joined them until 20 moved in unison to what was obviously a traditional dance. As the tempo accelerated, so did their steps, skillfully swirling and twirling them about, their tunic dresses, some of softly sheen leather, others of sturdy, brightly hued lana cloth, fluttered and shimmered in the flickering firelight. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
And then Morgan goes, stop, stop. We can't mate with y'all.
Stop
You
trying
might as
to
well
convince
jump
me.
in that bonfire because we don't
like
want
you. We don't like you.
Get out there, outside, now.
Well, so Rissa starts kind of like vibing with the music, right? Well, then Morgan pulled her from her chair and into the circle. What are you? Hold on to my arms. Dance with me. It's custom the Lord and his lady participate in the flame dance. Dance with me, Rissa.
The flame dance.
Her breath came erratically, but whether it was from the exertion or the nearness of him, she didn't know. Heat flared between them, his gaze, searing, mesmerizing, captured hers. A spark ignited, flickered momentarily before catching fire to roar into a blazing conflagration.
Okay.
I don't know
That's
that word.
amazing.
Conflagration? I don't understand. Then he pulled her hard up against him, lifting her from the ground.
He pulled his heart up against her.
Hard on up against her, twirling her round and round. Dizziness engulfed Rissa. Her nails dug into his arms. Her eyes clenched shut, yet still the strange new wave of pleasure burgeoned within her. Burgeoned?
And she kept telling herself, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen.
It's happening.
I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let this happen.
As if her heated realization had sparked a similar response within him. He jerked his head around. A fierce determination tightened in his features. He swung her back up into his arms. She grabbed frantically for his neck. What are you doing? Rissa cried as Morgan strode off out of the enclosure, leaving the festivities behind, taking you back to my lair. The games are over, Femina. It's past time I make you my mate in every sense of the word. And after our dance, you know it now as surely as I. Chapter 12. He carried her into the darkened night, into the cool autumn air and blanketing silence. His passing was effortless, silent, save for the slight rasps of his breath and strong beat of his heart. His profile, when Rissa finally dared look up at him, was solid as granite, firm with determination. Okay, so they get back to the lair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're only prolonging the inevitable. And she's like, but I'm asking for some time. And he's like, a few more minutes won't change that. Well,
it's time to get down, whether you like it or not, Rissa.
so here's the problem.
This is a crime? Is that the problem?
It's about to be, technically. So he has a flask
Oh.
of a, what did they call
He's
it?
about to do some drugs?
No.
Some cat drugs?
He's- well-
like, I got some.
Okay, he's going to try to loosen her up. He suggests maybe they have wine to make it a little bit more relaxing. But he has a flask, and he's going to put a lust inducer into the wine without her knowing.
A Rooflin.
Yes. But they call it a lust inducer, so it's okay. Anyway, he's like,
Why
there's...
would call them roofies? They should call them groundies. That movie was so funny.
So he's kind of going back and forth with whether this is even the right thing or not, but he's like, it's inevitable. They have to mate. And he doesn't want any other cat men to try to take her, so he's like, I gotta put my dick in her quick.
I gotta lay down this.
Yeah. So, why did it? he's like, why did it disturb him so to use it now on Rissa? In the end, what mattered was his people, their survival. He must always remember that. With a rough jerk, Morgan unstopped the vial and poured its contents into Rissa's cup. Next, he filled the cup with Yuva wine and swirled the rich crimson liquid about to mix the lust inducer. Fortunately, the drug was tasteless and odorless. Rissa would never suspect
lucky for
until
him.
it was too late. So she's still saying, I don't want this, not now. And he's like, how can you be so sure what you really want?
How do you know you don't want it?
Oh my God.
Have you tried it? Let's try it first. You don't want to try it, we'll force it upon you, and then we'll ask you after.
And
maybe.
And she's like, well, what does it matter? My desires have never been a concern here. He said, they do matter, Rissa, I swear
Drink
it.
this. They do matter. Drink this.
Yeah. He dragged us, but after them, there's you, Rissa. Okay,
Kathleen,
so
you
he's
want
saying,
somebody to drug you?
yeah.
Is this a dream?
Hey, I did like when you were playing funny the other day, and I was like, drag me out of here, just kidnap me.
At work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was holding you hostage.
With a finger gun. I loved it. It was hilarious.
Nobody cared.
Who other but me would laugh maniacally and happily if I was being drug out?
It was out of the park. I took you all the way out of the parking lot. Like, that's just, there's people down the highway probably can see that.
I loved it so
pretty
much.
funny.
I need you to do it to me more often. How do I exit this room of people I don't want to be in? Christopher,
No.
get out them guns. All right,
We'll have
so
a finger gun standoff. Watch out, these things are loaded.
So she drinks the drink, and her skin prickled, tingled with sensation.
And then her head drooped to the mattress.
Well, yeah, hold on. A warm ache flared low in Rissa's belly. She shifted in her chair, willing the curious feelings to abate. This time they didn't. Her glance lifted. Morgan stared at her, his gaze strangely intent, almost predatory. Whatever was the matter with him all of a sudden? Indeed, what was the matter with her? She struggled to regain her train of thought. It slipped away, caught up in the surging tide of heated memories, of rising needs, of unrequited hunger that cried out for sustenance. Her fingers clenched, closing around her cup. Wine, that's what she needed. Just a bit more to soothe her suddenly parched throat, to ease the fine tremors rippling through her body, and to still the crazed surge of lust that had all but taken hold of her. She lifted the cup to her lips, then paused. Lust. Lust inducers. Had he plied her with one of those hideous drugs in the hope of encouraging her response to him? But how, when? She glanced at the cup.
What do you mean how, when?
Oh my God. So she flung the cup and she is pissed, okay? You drugged me, didn't you? Oh my God. Okay, so she starts freaking out.
No.
Anyway,
just take a nap.
So she starts crying. She starts freaking out. She's like, I don't want this. Not now. Please, I beg you. Don't do this. Oh my God. How dare you? I hate you. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is a piece of shit.
Well, now he feels like a piece of shit.
Well, you should. You just drugged somebody, you fucking piece of shit.
And he was like, hush, sweet one. I won't take you. Not now. Not drugged. I swear it.
Well, then why'd you do it?
Maybe we just wanted to go to sleep. But it doesn't make you go to sleep. It really just makes you kind of drunkenly lusting, you know? So then he's going to go put her to bed, but she's all like, no, stop. Wait. No. Okay. Yeah, do it. I want to be with you. Fuck me. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, no, like as he's trying to put her to bed, she's like clawing at him, like, just put it in, daddy. Like basically is what's happening. So it's really hard.
Choke me. Gag on me.
Yeah. It's really hard for him to not take her because she's like kissing on him and trying to touch him and all this stuff. And he's like, no.
Monster.
Yeah.
She's gonna rape him now.
But she's, I think, a little too like, blah, blah, blah. So, all right. As time passed and Morgan fought to contain her, Rissa begged, pleaded, sobbed, and raged. She called him every foul name he'd ever heard, and a few more he hadn't. Then in the next moment, as she moved seductively beneath him, she would purr and cajole and speak all manner of sweetly enticing things. Morgan thought he'd go mad from his need, that the blood pounding in his throbbing, tautly swollen sex would finally burst through a vessel, and he'd die. Have you ever thought you were going to die from blue balls?
Yeah, almost every time I have it, I think it's going to kill me.
Oh, ridiculous. Time ceased to lose its meaning as he held her.
I don't deal with that too much.
Crooning to her, soothing her, and battling all the while against his own anguished desires. All right, so finally she goes to sleep. All right. Let's see.
And then he's like, finally, now I can have sex with her.
No, they talk the next morning and he's like, I won't force my loathsome advances on you. This very day, I'll offer you the opportunity to consider some of our other unmated males. So he's given her an opportunity to leave. Perhaps you'd like to reconsider Noreen. Curse you! Will nothing I got in the wrong person. Will nothing I do ever please you? I don't want another mate. No, listen. I don't want another mate. I'd rather stay with you. Why? Why do you want to stay with me? I don't know why. I just know I do. All right. So he's like, Rissa, you can't hope to keep your maidenhood if you stay with me. Can she if she goes with somebody else, though? The fuck are you saying? Like,
I'm gonna pawn this one off on one of my friends.
Yeah.
She's not putting out.
Yeah. All right. So
despite my best efforts, which have included
drugging,
dragging her, beating her,
trying to be nice to her,
and drugging her after he drugged her,
throwing her a party,
threw a fancy feast for her. What do you want me to do?
Do you think if she ate the food, she'd turn? Yeah. Well, if I must mate with you, I'd prefer to keep it to the real purpose you intended me for.
Pregnancy.
Rissa, you try my patience. When is your next fertile time?
Yeah, there it is.
She basically says in a week or so, and he's like, fine. And she's like, you'll wait? You won't touch me until then? No, I won't touch you until then. But I want something from you in return. What do you want?
Blowy time.
Your word that when your fertile time arrives, you'll come to me willingly without protest or battle and never fight me on this again, that you'll be my mate in all things, bear my children, and obey me. Obey you? Are you crazy?
I already hate this guy.
Yeah.
I hated him in the beginning, but he's even worse.
I'm on the fence about both of them. I don't care.
Fuck both these clowns.
All right. So I guess winter's kind of coming, and I don't know. I guess a little bit of time has passed. Rissa's going outside to gather her thoughts about whatever it is I skipped. And Diona comes out there and she's like, well, I hope you've gathered.
I just had a 4-way with 6 cat people.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How's that work?
She comes out, takes this big hit on a cat cigarette.
What is a cat cigarette? Is it catnip? They're smoking catnip. Yeah.
Catnip.
Yeah. Well, so
she's like, did you guys try the lust drugs around here? They're incredible.
I take them willingly.
Yeah. She's like,
let's get fucked up tonight, girls. It's a party.
She's like, you look really nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
You want to come in and meet, what's his name?
Tavis.
Tavis.
I wanted to say Travis, but it's a travesty.
You want to come inside and meet Tad?
Come inside.
Come inside and meet Tad and the boys.
Did you know that in reality, cats apparently can get pregnant by multiple dads? So in the cat people world, I guess if you mated with 2 men, can you have
pregnant by
no
multiple dads?
at the same time?
People we know have like 9
Shut
kids.
I mean, at the same time. At the same time. So she's like, I hope you've gathered your thoughts because trouble is afoot.
Oh, I thought trouble's about to be a dick because this is about to get you in trouble.
Rissa frowned. What trouble is it with one of our women? More with one of the cat men.
She's like, I haven't blown this one yet.
Oh my God. Well, so one of their girls in their parties is named Hallie or Haley. I don't know. She was paired up with one of the cat guys and he is abusive.
Oh no.
Very abusive. He's been beating her to try to make her mate with him. And I think it gets worse than that. So on to chapter 13. So they're going to go check things out because Rissa's like pissed, right? You know?
Yeah. How dare they kidnap us
and then beat us
yeah. And then try and drug us and rape us and have sex and babies with us
after throwing us a nice fancy
We
party.
are drawing the line at he's throwing spaghetti against the wall and hitting this broad.
Well, basically, because when they got into the lair, the guy's gone, but she sees uneaten, rotting food on a table.
How do I keep calling this?
I know. A cup was overturned, stuck to the gooey remnants of Yuva wine spilled on the tabletop. Unwashed pots soaked in a tub of grease-congealed water. A chair lay overturned. A pile of bedding was stuffed in one corner. The air was heavy, musty, and reeked of decaying things. So Rissa's getting kind of choked up, nauseous. She sees Hallie in the corner. She is fucked up, dude. She's like freaked out. She's bruised up. Like it's bad. She's not being fed very well. It's really, really bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So,
really bad.
So it cuts kind of after that. She's gonna go run and get Morgan.
The girl that just got beat up?
Rissa's gonna go get Morgan.
Okay.
She
Like,
tells
"Hurry, go get Morgan so he can help." She's
so she tells Diana to stand watch, and she's gonna go get him. Well, it cuts to him. I think he's with the council, or he's at least talking to some of the other guys. I lost my little belly button thing. Oh my God. I lost my belly button ring thing. It's probably not here. Don't worry about it. Whatever. All right. So anyway, back to the story. Thanks for looking though, babe. You're so sweet. So the guys are talking shit because Morgan's got like at least a couple of guys in the cat people group that don't like him. Kind of those
that don't like Morgan.
Yeah.
Surprise!
yeah.
He drugs and
No, they're worse. They're assholes. No, they're the bad guys.
Led his whole peoples to ruins.
Yeah, no, they're the bad guys.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, Craddock, remember when they were in the lair? Like, he came and was being kind of an asshole, and I don't know.
Really.
He's the one that sounds like he'd come and take the girl and be an asshole, too. But that's not who Hallie was paired up with. She's paired up with some other dude. All right. Morgan, I need your help. What is it, Femina? We're in conference and I can't. Hallie, her mate, Limos, that's his name. He's beating her, starving her. You must come, take her away. And so he's like, oh, well, let's see. And then Craddock says some bullshit and Morgan's like, shut the fuck up. All right. So they go and he sees that Limos is, treating this girl really poorly because in their society, it is not okay to do this. So I do appreciate that the cat people are not total, scumbags. No, you can't beat your wives. It's a lust inducer.
Oh, it's a lust inducer.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Well,
I feel like we're splitting some weird hairs here.
Cat hairs?
Some cat hairs.
All right. So he said that Limos will be sent before council. They'll determine his punishment. At the very least, she will be taken from him and given to another male. But, is she even going to want to be with anybody ever again?
Yeah, and that male now has to deal with the effects that have been lingering in this female now. Yeah.
Anyway, so they sit before council. They determine that Limos needs to be punished. Craddock's like, this is bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. Moving on. How many pages did I skip? Okay. So they start trying to treat Hallie's bruises. Agna's there. Agna, the one who was kind of a bitch to Rissa before, says, go get me some fresh water from the frozen stream. So Rissa goes. It had snowed. There was a thin layer of ice on the stream. And so her fingers are getting numb, getting this water. But all of a sudden, up from behind her, need someone to warm you, do you, Femina? A deep male voice came from behind her. Rissa wheeled around. Craddock stood but a few meters away, grinning down at her. She didn't like the look in his eyes. What do you want? I came down to offer my assistance with that heavy bucket, and all you can do is act as if I've just climbed out from beneath some stone. For shame, Femina. I'm Morgan's cousin, after all. Well, I need no help, thank you. You're in my way. Please move. He grasped her by the arms, sliding one hand down until he pried the bucket from her fingers and tossed it aside. You're a very pretty Femina. I've had a deep curiosity about how your lips would taste from almost the first moment I saw you, and I think I'd tire of waiting for you to come to me of your own accord. Anyway, he forces a kiss on her.
Oh.
And then guess what happens? There were witnesses.
Oh, no. Witnesses.
And they're like, how dare you, you sneaky slut?
Yeah, how dare you?
And she's like, oh, my God, not with Craddock. Are you kidding me? And Agna's one of the witnesses. And she's like, I sent you for a bucket of water. I thought I could trust you. Curse you, Agna. And she's just freaking out. She's like, I did nothing, Anyway, so shit's going to turn on her. They're trying to,
cause some high school bullshit drama while they should be saving their people. Exactly.
So chapter 14. So let's see. Who's she talking to? Rissa raged.
Do the rest of the cat people see that these are their leaders?
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe we should not have them as our leaders anymore.
Okay, so Rissa's talking to Noreen, and he agrees that perhaps it was a carefully orchestrated scheme. But I think rather it was Craddock's idea with perhaps some outside help, like Agna. So she was set up for sure. And they're talking about how Craddock definitely wants to take Morgan down if he can, and that there's a big conflict between them and it's not going to get any better. Well, because of this, Morgan has had to go before the council again, I guess, because with this, treachery.
Treachery.
Her trait. She was a traitor, I guess. The council would take her from Morgan and give her to Craddock, I guess. But Morgan doesn't want that, so he challenges him to a duel.
Challenges Craddock?
Yeah, Craddock. And it's a duel to the death.
Nice.
Okay.
It should be. As duels should be.
Yeah, so she's freaking out. And Morgan comes to talk to her, and he's like, there's no need to prolong this. And she's like, I didn't do that. That's not what happened. I don't want you to fight. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I have to do it, or I'm going to look like a little bitch.
I can't have no bitches in the Cat Clan.
Mm-hmm. And so they're talking about how he, challenged him and yada, yada, yada. I don't want you to die, Morgan, especially not for my sake. His eyes brimmed with emotion. He leaned down and pulled Rissa up to him, turning her gently to draw her onto his lap. His arms encircled her. And if not for you, sweet Femina, then for whom? For your people, Morgan.
Please, I don't care about that.
That and only that is worth your life. Yes, that is truly worth the sacrifice of my life, but you're well worth it too. Don't distress yourself, sweet one. Sooner or later, Craddock would have found some way to bring things to a head. It was just a matter of time. All right, so she's hugging on him. She's feeling his heartbeat, thinking about his thick chest and his body and his fragrant, potent man scent.
Thick thighs.
She says, let's go to bed. It's past time you made me yours. You wish to mate with me now, do you? Yes. Why, Rissa? Why after everything? She was like, well, if I'd laid with you.
Because now you're going to die.
Yeah, and she was like, if I'd done you sooner, maybe this wouldn't be a problem. And he's like, no, I won't have you because you think I'm the lesser of two equals. And she's like, that's why you think I offered myself to you? Because I feel sorry for you.
That's what I said.
He's like, I will not take you tonight. I would never truly know if I lived or died the reason you chose this night of all nights to mate with me. All right, so the next morning, wake up, you lazy female. Rissa groaned and buried her head in the pillows. Go away, too early. No, it's not. Not unless you want to lose the only chance you'll ever have to escape. What?
Escape?
Agna, the backstabbing bitch.
I don't know. She's helping her escape.
Well, for her own purpose, not for Rissa's sake.
Rissa, she got captured. This is an escape attempt.
Yeah, she wants her gone.
To get broken. She needs to get her out of there. Agnes is a friend.
Well,
might be her only friend.
All right, now she's like, basically, get up, make up your mind. We got to go now because the guards are gone and this is the only time. And she's like, I don't want to. Da, 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 da. All right, so she goes. Rissa goes. She starts going. She's going to leave. But then she hesitates. What is the matter now?
All the Bellatorians have small dicks. Even the females.
Where are Morgan and Craddock? What does it matter? A shout arose, carried down the valley on a gusting breeze. Morgan! Before Agna could utter another word, Rissa bolted down the valley, her love, her fear, lending her a swiftness that even the healer watching her wondered at. The wind, rising to whip and whistle through the twisting confines of the valley, tore at her cloak, tugging at the heavy fur until it weighed on her and slowed her forward progress. With a small cry of frustration, Rissa unfastened the cloak and let it go. Nothing must keep her from Morgan. She must reach him before it was too late. All right, so she's pushing through the crowds, screaming, let me in there. She sees them fighting. They're bloodied up. They're sweaty. They're bruised.
Is it a hand-to-hand fight?
Yeah, claw to claw.
Claw to claw, so they have weapons.
Just claws, yeah. They're probably pretty much almost naked, too.
Yeah.
Like gladiator fights for cat people.
I'm going to pierce you with my barbed dick.
I'm going to bite you.
That's one of their weapons.
So she runs into the fight.
Hell yeah.
And blocks Morgan from Craddock. But that did not stop Craddock. He still lunged like he was going to kill her too. Didn't matter. So Morgan throws her out of the way. He's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And she's like, no, stop. Tries to get back in there, but people are like holding her back. And the sickening thud of two hard bodies slamming into each other filled the air. Breaths expelled in agonized grunts. The metallic tang of fresh blood flooded her nostrils. Rissa caught her breath, suddenly afraid she'd retch. All right. So
Don't be
so
innocent.
Noreen's like, you're only making matters worse and you're shaming Morgan. She said, and I say you shame yourself and all the rest of you too. Shame on all of you for your cowardice and failing to change what you know to be wrong. Shame on you for your unwillingness to adapt to what must be. You are blind, all of you, and you'll kill Morgan because of it. Oh, gods. Like, that's how it's written.
Way to have a lot of faith in your fella.
So she keeps going off. Oh, no, Noreen says, she's right. She alone has had the vision and courage to question and condemn what we refuse to face. In this now, I beg of you, before Morgan dies, and with him dies the heart and final hope for our people.
Nobody has any faith in this dude as a leader.
Yes, Agna cried, elbowing her way to the front of the crowd. The Bellatorian is right. In this now. You are so fucking wishy-washy, Agna. I think you should be kicked out of this group because I don't know to trust you or not.
Wasn't this like a big cultural thing?
Well, yeah. So, but they had talked
just
before.
Like, oh, we don't have to do this anymore.
Oh,
amazing! Just somebody opened our eyes to what if we just didn't?
Well, Arden.
What if we just didn't?
Yeah,
let's just stop.
Arden, one of the elders, Morrigan's grandfather, steps forth and he's like, yeah, you know what? In the challenge, it no longer serves us. End it now. Because basically they realize that this kind of bullshit would dwindle their numbers if they keep fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah, Morgan got saved, dude, because Craddock is about to be the leader and fuck the hot one.
And he's like, we need to rethink some of our laws. Your mate is right. We not only shame ourselves, but we threaten our existence. Okay, so Morrigan, gets over there and he's like, okay, the blood is pouring from his wounds and everyone is like, what do we do with Craddock? And Morgan's like, throw him in the jail cell until we can decide. So
well, what if he had won the fight?
Who, Craddock?
Yeah.
I guess he would have been the leader.
Then why the fuck? No, we can't have this. So you're getting your ass kicked and now everybody's like, well, put the other guy in jail.
Well, but Craddock was scheming. So he did really kind of have a reason. He was scheming to fight Morrigan. So it was all illegitimate reasons, like, unfairly created. Anyway, chapter 15, I think I entirely skipped. Let's see. Oh, okay.
I don't like these cat people. They're real wishy-washy on their customs and beliefs. And then
they're trying to
They
evolve.
really don't care about their fellow cat person.
I know. They're trying to evolve.
None of them. Trying to evolve.
Yeah. Sort of.
I don't know, man. The dog people would never do this to each other.
Yeah. All right.
Hell no.
So he's kind of being okay. Some time has passed. He's healing up, but he needs help in the bath.
Oh.
So they go down to the springs, hot springs, and she noticed that there's other women in the spring and that he was going to get in and be naked and she got jealous. So they end up going into the private pool area. And he's like, will you at least help me undress and wash my back if you won't bathe with me? And she's trying to say she doesn't know if I guess that would be appropriate. She hesitated, though, torn between the impulse to help Morgan and the embarrassment of assisting him to undress. She'd seen him all but naked when he'd worn his brief loincloth. There was little more about his body to know, and he was her mate, even if she'd yet to join him. All right, so, blah, 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 blah. They lock the door to the private one. He's like, will you help me with my breeches? Breeches is in here like 5 times. Hold on. As Rissa stared up at him in shock, Morgan slipped his leather breeches off and let them fall to his knees. She caught a glimpse of lean, rock-hard legs covered with a generous sprinkling of hair, smooth flanks, and, at the juncture of his thighs, a dense nest of dark hair and a huge... They don't say it. But they talk about his breeches again and again. I have highlighted it 4 times. Breeches, breeches, breeches.
So he's got a big hog too, huh?
Yeah.
Of course.
So she decides to actually get in with him and help him.
After seeing it?
She'd already pulled off one boot and was tugging on the other. A minute later, her tunic was off. At the sight of her lush white breasts tipped with soft pink nipples, a warm heat flooded him. It was Morgan's turn to avert his gaze. Her long leathered skirt came next, falling to the ground with a soughing sound? Soughing? He swallowed hard without even seeing her. He recalled how she'd looked naked before. His sex swelled. All right. So she gets in the water. They start bathing. She's like putting her tits on his head. Shit. She's bathing him. All that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Naked bathing, getting all sexy. He throws his head back. He's feeling good. He didn't know she could treat him so well. And she's like, trust me, need me, blah, 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 blah. He gets out of the water. She says something to him like, I don't know, that he's nice or something. And he's like, that's not normally what people think of me. But if it would win me a kiss, I'd gladly be anything you wish. And so she's like, all right.
All right, yeah.
Then kiss you I will. His arm encircled.
I'm going to kiss you now. Here I go.
Here I
coming
come.
in for a kiss, okay?
He pulls her close, his throbbing erection pressed against her belly, his head lowered until his mouth hovered but a warm breath from hers. But be forewarned, this won't be some chaste little brush of lips or some lad's unskilled first attempt. And she's like, are you warning or bragging? He's like, neither. I'm just telling you how it's going to be.
I'm just telling you how it's going to be.
All right, so before she could even draw breath into her suddenly constricted chest, he closed the final distance between them. His mouth settled over hers, hot, insistent, and wild, and so exquisitely, so deliciously sweet. She gasped. In her moment of unguarded surprise, Morgan plunged his tongue into her, questing, teasing, supping greedily of her mouth and lips and tongue, her hands clutching his upper arms, clenched, gouging.
Is his tongue all rough like a cat?
Ooh. She tried to push away, both horrified and inexplicably drawn, but he held her fast. Then he groaned low in his throat, the sound of unfettered pleasure and anguished need. Something within her shattered. All she knew was an overwhelming and uncontrollable urge to press into him, to feel his hot hardness against her, to taste
hot hardness,
to taste the sweetness of his mouth, his tongue.
He was the saltiness of the tip of my caucus.
He was a sweet confection, a precious nectar, a soul-sustaining, delightsome ambrosia. Rissa thought she'd never get enough. With a soft, strangled cry, she surrendered to the sweet, secret pleasure that was Morgan, her mate, her love. She clung to his massive shoulders, reveling in the rasp of his crisp body hair against her silky, highly sensitized flesh, mating her tongue with his in a fierce, passionate dance. He stops her.
I don't like that. Don't do this anymore.
Why did you stop, Morgan? Gods, Femina, isn't it obvious? I all but lost control just kissing you. We'd better leave before things really get out of control. And she's like, and why is that? If we tarry here much longer, I feel I'll mate with you whether you want it or not. She stepped up to him, her hand settled upon his chest. But what if I want it?
He just said, I said whether you want it or not. I'm not listening.
This is what this pool is meant for, isn't it? You did bring me here to seduce me, didn't you? And I've just decided to take you up on your most attractive offer. Chapter 16.
Stop. Or you keep going?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What do you want? You want me to stop? You want to wait for the sex next time?
I don't know. You're the author.
We can always split it up.
You're the narrator.
I would never write something this ridiculous. So we can always split it up if we want to, but I figured we needed to go ahead and get into it. We've been waiting so fucking long.
All right, let's do it.
He wonders if she's just pitying him, and she's like, no, I like you because you're mine. And they talk. What are you doing? Your legs. Wrap your legs around my waist. Oh, I couldn't do that. We're naked. I would touch, He's like, exactly. His glance raked over her lithe young body, moisture slick and nubile. The pouting nipples so full, so succulent, so close to his hungry mouth. You said you liked how our bodies felt together, that you wanted to know me in every way you could. There's no harm in this, only pleasure. You do trust me, don't you? Yes, I trust you. Then come to me, Femina. Hold me tight within the sweet prison of your legs. Press your breast to my lips, and I promise I'll give you such pleasure as you've never known. An image of a hard, hungry mouth suckling her breast flooded Rissa's mind, of Morgan's dark head bent over her white flesh, his lips worshipping, caressing her. She knew it for the shared psychic link it was, knew it for the conjured vision in his own mind. Yes, oh yes, Morgan.
Oh.
His hands cupped her buttocks, clenching in the soft flesh for an instant before grasping Rissa and lifting her to him. She spread her legs, wrapping her silken limbs around his powerful, potent male body. The first touch of his manhood took Rissa's breath away, his thick erection pressed like some stiff, deadly weapon between them. A weapon, velvet sheathed as it was, capable of piercing her maidenhood and burying itself deep within her. A weapon that, no matter how lovingly he attempted to wield it, would put an end to the last vestiges of her youth, God damn it, youth, and lead her wounded but fulfilled into womanhood. Rissa, don't ever leave me. I couldn't bear it if I lost you. We'll make it work, my love. I know we will. All right. So He lays her down on delicate moss flowers. And they fucking do it.
They fucking fuck.
They fucking fuck.
They're gonna fucking fuck.
All right, so he starts. What does he start? Okay, oh.
What does he start doing? Rachel leaving. They're fucking fucking.
He took one pale nipple into his mouth and sucked it gently. Fire shot through her. She threw back her head, arching into him.
More Morgan.
More Morgan. One hand slipped across Rissa's buttocks to anchor her to him, and with his other hand, Morgan captured the side of her face. His expression was one of the most ineffable, loving things she'd ever seen. Then his mouth moved, taking hers in fierce, passionate kiss. She stroked his back, her nails gouging into the bulge of his moisture-dampened muscle and sinew. Morgan sucked in a ragged breath, his eyes clenched shut. Rissa, gods, don't. Why, my love, don't you like it? Curse you, you drive me into the very brink of my control.
I hate you. Why are you doing this to me?
And what will it take to drive you past it? She pulled one hand free and lowered her gaze, her fingers toying with the cat's claw nestled in his dense swirl of chest hair. That's a confusing sentence, and I'm going to go ahead and just skip it. You push too hard and too fast for your own good, Femina. But you'll have what you wish of me, and now. He reached to the side of the pool and laid her on a thick... Oh, he already did that, I thought.
He's going to do it again.
I guess so. He gets out of the water. He gets on top of her.
And then?
I'm trying to find a good spot. His fingers slid into her moist woman's cleft, thrust into her sheath. His touch, delving deeply into heretofore forbidden places, sent crazed little shivers shooting through her. She arched her back into him. As he thrust his fingers repeatedly in and out of her, Rissa began an instinctive thrusting of her own. Yes, that's it, sweet one. That's how your body will respond to me when I take you. Morgan, take me now, I beg you. You're mine. You've always been mine. Mine, Rissa, always and forever. All right.
The things people say to each other when they're fucking.
In a swift, fevered action, Morgan grasped her hips with one hand and his manhood with the other. His glands, dark, red, and swollen, flared as it neared Rissa's lush, white buttocks. Wait. Wrong door.
That's not a cat hole. That's not a cat hole.
For an instant, Morgan feared he'd spill his seed before he entered her.
Oh.
All right.
Pleasure like you never knew.
He caught it.
Didn't even touch it.
He caught a glimpse of her moist, plump woman's flesh. The sight was finally enough to drive him over the edge. In a swift, expert thrust, he guided himself into her, driving his sex past the sight of resistance of her maidenhood, impaling himself to his full length. Rissa cried out, stiffened, and went still. He leaned over her.
Killed her.
Then she finally relaxed. His hand slipped around one, cupping a full, firm breast to knead the highly
soft white buttocks.
The other sliding down to find the secret button of flesh between Rissa's legs.
Her butthole.
That is what you call mine.
Her secret button.
She shivered when he touched her there and moaned, spreading her legs to give him greater access. And as he gradually worked the tender bud to a swollen, raised nubbin. Rissa forgot the pain of her penetration. She began once more to move in sharp rhythmic little jerks.
Is that what it sounded like when she was getting down?
Well, that's when she was blowing him. And finally, blessedly, Rissa came. The delicious sensations between her legs grew, building within her until they engulfed her in a mist of dark, heated passion. She cried out sharply, her body racked with ecstatic spasms. Everything tingled, felt on fire, her breasts, her nipples, her skin. Never had she imagined it could be like this, and Morgan quickened his pace. Little whimpers she let out. He braced one hand beside her to bear his weight and grasped her about her hips with the other. Bit by agonizing bit, his control shredded, exploding violently, ecstatically. He cried out, the sound savage and primal. Exquisite shudders racked his body.
It came on her.
Gradually, the last vestiges of strength drained from him. His body still joined with hers. Morgan pulled Rissa down with him to lie on the fragrant bed of moss flowers. There was nothing more to be said or experienced. He'd found his heaven and fulfillment in the arms of a brave, loving, and beautiful woman.
Morgan rolled over and died.
A woman who was finally his mate in every way. Now listen. Next is chapter 17, but we're going to stop here.
Yeah.
Because we finally came to climax.
We We showed up and we came.
We came and we came. We came twice.
Yeah.
So
And if you didn't come on this one,
shame
it's
on
your
you.
own fault.
It's your own damn
It's your
fault.
Own damn fault.
So the next one will be the last installment. But stay tuned because even though we have reached our peak of the climax,
There might be a double climax.
well, there's definitely
Some of these books have like 12 fucking endings.
yeah.
so-
Well, what I was gonna say is, we hadn't really. A lot of these books will have that violent twist or turn, the
Twist or
exciting,
turn.
hostage situations, drug deals, and things like that.
This is going to be a drug deal in this one?
Well, there's something coming up because I did read ahead.
Oh, well, don't tell me because you have to
I
tune
won't.
into the next
Till next
exciting
time.
episode
Of Bustles
of
and
Bustles
Bangers.
Bangers.
Yeah. So if you're just craving more, start over at the beginning and listen to the rest of our stories. There's been some really good ones. Find us on www.bustlesandbangers.com. Find us on Facebook or Instagram. No longer TikTok. I'm not allowed. I got in trouble. Whoopsies. So until next time, kitties.
Nice.
We love y'all so much. Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
I married a guy I knew most of my life. We knew each other in high school and even went to prom together. But little did I know, I did not know him at all. I will call my now ex-husband Dirty Chad.
Hey y'all, this is April
And this is Caroline.
with Bloody Happy Hour.
And we are bringing to you Dirty Chad. Get it on patreon.com/bloodyhappyhour exclusively for all the details and all the red flags.
Caroline's finally telling her story.
My truth.